All right, guys, welcome to week 8. So we have done a lot of prep for this text. I am Alfonso Jones. You have developed your whisper, turned it into a shout, or you're starting to. You have focused on what do we need to know about the criminal justice system? What is our opinion about that? You've read some articles about that having to do with society today. You have engaged in the I Am project, which was done to kind of put you in the place of Alfonso Jones. He is a character that really loves the city. He believes that is who, has helped shape who he is. And so we were putting you in that kind of position so that you understood a little bit more and could connect more with this text. But we are finally here. So you are now finally going to read I Am Alfonso Jones. And it's a really good book. It is a graphic novel. So even though you're going to be reading chapters 1 through 26, it goes really, really quick because there's just a lot of pictures. So our goal this week is to make sure that we can read it and complete an annotation guide. And that's it. And then you're going to engage in a question to kind of make sure we all understand what annotation is. So there are 3 things that I'm looking at. Number 1 for your learning target is that you can analyze how complex characters interact and developed over time. One of the things that you need to understand about ELA 10 and this as a pre-AP course is that we are really going to engage in deep level analysis, specifically of characters and how they interact and how they are shaped. Because if we know that, that is going to help us understand theme a lot more effectively and be able to explain an author's theme. So we'll be digging deep into that. The second thing I'm looking at is, can you analyze how an author, how and why an author might choose to manipulate time and why that might create mystery, tension, or surprise? What would be the author's purpose of doing that versus another technique? So we're going to look at that because in this novel, we've already kind of went over the first 3 chapters, which were like the first 6 pages. And we know that in chapter 1, Alfonso gets shot. We don't know why at that point. He's holding a hanger and he gets shot. We don't know who shot him at that point. Chapters 2, though, goes into a flashback. Okay. And so like, why would Medina choose to do that? What is his purpose? Why not just tell the story, beginning to end? So you want to think about that as you're reading, because he does that for a reason. Third thing I want you to focus on is that looking at patterns. It's part of the analysis as well. You guys, and determining or clarifying the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words, which normally means vocabulary. This week you won't have a vocabulary Frayer model because you're going to do a little bit more with the annotation guide than the general classes. So they will have a Frayer model and you won't. Plus you're a little bit ahead with your vocabulary. Even though you're not going to be doing a Frayer model for me, if you come across words you don't know, you need to note that. You need to figure out what that means. Look that up, use those skills. So your assignments, number 1 is you're going to attend to participate in the CTC presentation and you're going to view the playlist video on Google Classroom. It's very which is what you should be doing right now. Like this is the playlist video. The CTC presentation, you need to make sure you're on Zoom. 1, because that is going to, be a credit, you get a grade for it. But 2, you might be interested in going to the CTC. So they're going to present what it is, how to get in, what programs they have, and so forth. And this will help them develop your field trip in December, barring anything that might happen with COVID, so that you can go visit. And most sophomores like to go to that, and those that don't often have to stay behind and do other work. So it's something to look forward to. So for you guys will be doing your CTC presentation on the 12th because you are period 3. The second thing that you're going to make sure you do is that you are going to engage in a classroom annotation discussion. So there's a question that I posted in Google Classroom. You have to watch 2 videos, you have to post about it, and you have to respond to someone. Read those directions because that way, so that you know how to get your points. The key thing here is please make sure that your discussion and your response, your posts, that they're well developed, you're referencing things in the videos, that it's very clear that you viewed the videos and you've thought about the videos. Ultimately, what these videos are clarification about annotation. If you had me last year for honors, you know I'm big on annotation. You also might know, you know, some people like it, some people don't, but here's the thing. There are times when we read novels for just enjoyment. I would never annotate something for that. There are other times, a lot of times in school, where we read things because we need to get to a deeper level. We need to think about it. We need to analyze, etc. So we're doing close reading, and that is what annotation is. Remember that last year I exposed you to a lot of different ways to annotate. This year we're going to continue that so that by junior and senior year, you have a method that works for you, in which you are successful for, or at, I should say. Which you should never end a sentence with a preposition, but whatever. So this year, obviously that's a digital text. So you can't write on the text, and which is why you're going to complete something called an annotation guide. Okay. So you're going to read pages 1 through 83, but like I said, it's full of pictures, AKA chapters 1 through 26. And you're going to fill out the annotation guide as you read. So you might want to read a couple chapters and then stop and fill that section out. Okay. Or maybe you're one of those people that like to read and then go back and do the annotation. Whatever your style is, just get it done. It is worth 160 points. It is an EOL, AKA evidence of learning. I suggest starting on this ASAP. I would not wait till the last minute. Okay. You do have until the 18th. So pace yourself. If you have 83 pages, divide that by 6 and do a little bit each day so that you are not backed up at the very end and then you're freaking out. Okay. Those are the only 2 things that we're doing: reading and annotating, attending CTC, and answering a question on Google Classroom. Okay. Instructional lab is to be determined. I'll talk more about that later in a Zoom. And I think that is it. Oh, your Google Classroom question, you need to finish that by Monday, 11:59 p.m. Okay, so that we are all on the same page with annotation. And that is it.